You were listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, and this is Breaking the Ice, final episode with regular season games of the NHL. I'm your host, Connor Cupen. On mic 1, we got Danner Price over here. How's it going, Danner?
The blue shirts!
Listen, third in the division feels nice, don't it?
I guess so.
All right, well, listen,
so.
The Blue Shirts are still killing it.
Yeah.
On mic 2, we got the saddest man of the day. That's fact. It's AJ Chasan.
How we doing, guys?
How are you doing? That's the real question. Don't ask us how. I'm doing great.
Pittsburgh Penguins. Not yet. They're
not
not out yet.
They're not out yet. Justin's not even here.
That's true.
So we can't do that. We
Yeah,
can't do
it's-
that right now.
It's not a good day today. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's not a good day. Well, first things first. Let's not even talk about the National Hockey League. We got big news tonight. Breaking the street. Game 4 of the regular season. We got to get our first
Regular
win.
season finale.
Regular season finale. And not on top of that, let's talk about last game real quick. Let's get it out there. What's going on, IM? Come on. We scored that goal.
We scored that goal.
So apparently, there is a rule in intramural street hockey which I don't agree with. I don't agree with it. Let's just recap the whole thing. Our players, we had a player that was tripped, first off, so we should have had a penalty there. But they didn't touch the ball.
No,
So
they called it. No, they called. They had a delayed penalty.
No.
Did we actually
They
get
had a
called, though?
delayed
Did
penalty.
we
Oh,
actually
really?
get called?
They had a delayed penalty. What's it called? They had a delayed penalty. It didn't end up getting called. So one of our players, Richie Lombardi, scores. Right. He scores off a loose ball. Right.
And we went crazy.
And we went crazy. We're up 1-0.
Defensive heavy game.
Yep.
I'll give credit to the defense.
You
and
ever see like it
goaltending.
was like
Yep.
you ever see like when something good happens in like a kids sports movie?
Exactly.
That's how we were like.
That's how
we
we
were
were
like
like.
jumping.
Nick Nardone was playing his tail off. We're up 1-0 at that point.
Igor
for
Shesterkin Jr.
for a very, very, very short 10 seconds. Then Kapasig goes over to the ref, starts talking to the referee, which we're not thinking anything of it. It's a clear and obvious goal, right? Not so fast. Goal gets overturned, and before we even have a chance to rebuttal, we go over, start talking, like, hey, like, what's going on? Do you want to play some hockey or not? Do you want to play some hockey or not? My call is my call.
No,
Yeah,
so
well, we want to play some hockey. But
what I don't understand is that we didn't use the extra attack on the delayed penalty, right? But we scored regardless.
we couldn't. As soon as the arm went up for a delayed penalty,
Yeah, we scored.
The ball was in the net.
Richie
Like,
scored the goal.
Yeah, the extra attacker couldn't even get out there because we scored within like 5 seconds of the penalty actually happening.
And then they called the goal back because I guess was the rule that you cannot score in the crease.
the goal, the original rule was, you cannot like bat a ball like out of a goalie's possession, but you can be in the crease as long as the ball is loose. Which, to that interpretation of the rule, the ball was loose. The goalie did not have possession of it. Richie got
Absolutely
his stick in
not.
there,
Yeah.
scored, and then it was changed to, the player just can't be in the crease to begin with. So my rebuttal to that is, which crease are we talking about? Because there was a big crease and there was a small crease. There was 2 creases drawn up. So what are we talking about here? That's another one. And 2, my issue with what happened was right call, wrong call. Let's just say, for argument's sake, the refs made the right call, right?
Yeah.
Let's say they made the right call. The original call on the court was goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kapasig had a chance to plead their case, as they should, which they have that right if they believe that a rule was not officiated to what we agreed it to be. No issue with them whatsoever. They played a great game. Great. By the
Listen,
way, GG's
man,
to
they know how to
Kapasig.
play defense.
They do. It
Yeah.
was an absolute battle. I hope we see them again.
Yeah.
It's
We'll
going to be
be
a very
ready
fun
next
match.
time.
Absolutely. But neither here nor there. My issue lays when we went to rebuttal like the overturned call, we did not get that opportunity.
Yeah.
We did not get the opportunity to state our case.
Yes.
Instead, we were yelled at by the official. Hey, it's like, my call is my call. Do y'all want to play some hockey or not? We didn't even get a chance. So, if we're going to officiate the game, right, And they're very open about the fact that they're still learning hockey and everything.
And that's okay.
It's completely fine.
It's a very hard sport to learn.
Yeah, that, and at the end of the day, it's intramural sports.
It's intramural sports.
Yes, I completely agree. I completely, I understand that,
Yes.
and we're, at the end of the day, I think I can speak for everybody. We're all thankful that they're there.
Yeah.
They're all thankful that they're there.
We get a chance to play hockey.
Yeah, and we even get the chance for it to actually be officiated by not honored code by two teams. But if we're gonna have officials there, if we're not gonna call the game by the rules, right? Mm-hmm. We at least have to call it with some integrity.
Yeah.
We at least have to call it fairly. We did not get that opportunity. Just from a pure human to human interaction, being able to speak, right? We did not get the same luxury as Kappa Sig did. Why? Remains to be seen. We'll never know. We'll never know. And honestly, it's in the rear view. We're focused on tonight. We're focused on AXP.
And they're going down.
Yep. Kappa Sig's out. Yep. It's in the rear view. It's gone. Regardless, at the end of the day, I still feel we should have had that opportunity to at least talk.
And we didn't get a power after the goal was called back. We didn't even get a power play after that.
Nope.
We should have gotten the power play after that too, right?
Nope.
Because there was a tripping call. But okay, I'm gonna be real. So my defensive breakdown allowed the one goal of the game.
It happens. All we gotta do is keep that stick on the ground, and we're good.
Gotta keep the stick on the ground, and we switched around the lines. We switched around the lines. We were missing Matthew Tkachuk basically in that game. You know what I'm saying? Eli Slonim, this man. I wasn't there, but apparently he is God with the hockey stick.
Yeah.
He's very good.
So, we'll be back tonight, 10 p.m. And we're not going down. We're not going down. We're making the playoffs because every team makes the playoffs. But we are going to win this game. I have my Alexander Barkov jersey in my bag, mind you. We will avenge ourselves of last week, and XP's going down. I'm just gonna, they're not us. We are them. We're them.
What?
We gotta get to 2-2. We gotta get to an even record. First of all, and also, we got to be on our best behavior tonight to get that sportsmanship rating up, so that way we
have a problem with the sportsmanship rating every sport.
Yeah, well, also our first two actual games that we've played in, we've had referee issues. We'll get into the first week too. So math is hard, right?
The first game.
It's 5-3, right? Delta Chi scores, make it 6-3. Again, great game to them. They were good that night, right? 6-3. You know what the official calls? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Hold on, let me get a drum roll for you. Let me get a drum roll.
All right, get it.
I know it's in here somewhere, so just keep,
all right. They called mercy. They called the mercy rule. But with this IM league, the mercy rule is you have to be winning by 6 goals or more, right? It was 6-3. And what is 6 minus 3? Give me an answer, boys.
6, bro. It's 6.
6.
Yeah. 6.
Apparently. So, we did not get that interpretation of that rule right. But at the end of the day, those refs, they made the call. They gave us fairness. They gave us a chance to talk it over, and we got it right. We were still able to play. We ended up losing 7-3.
Yeah, so it didn't even make a difference.
Yeah, we gave up another goal. But we are able to.
It's all about the fairness of the game.
Yeah. But we got that, which shout out to those refs, by the way. They were cool. They're also cool people to talk to. I was kind of chalking it up with them the entire game. They're sick. The refs that we had, Kappa Sig, right? If you're listening to this, can we get some different refs tonight? That'd be kind of nice.
All I know
at the end of the day, it's a 1 versus 2 battle. Yeah. It's breaking the street versus AXP and the refs.
And the sportsmanship rating.
Listen,
and I hope that our radio show, since all the other teams don't have radio shows, I hope this doesn't factor into.
We're the only team that has a true platform
like that. I hope that this doesn't take it. But at the end of the day, boys, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna win the game. We're gonna be 2-2. We're gonna be 500. We're gonna get to the playoffs. We're gonna figure out our lines. We have them working, and we are going to get our revenge and win the t-shirts.
We're not gonna lose when we have to, like someone's team here.
Ooh.
I could.
Yo, let me hit him. Oh, give me 1 sec right there.
Really?
Got him!
AJ.
So I guess he just wants. I guess he
I
just
guess
wants to
we're
rip
going
the
there.
Band-Aid over. And
I
I guess he
guess
just
we're
wants
going
to.
there.
I guess he wants to transition away from intramural, and he just wants to go. He just wants to get straight into the Penguins.
The National Hockey League is some teams got 1 game left, some teams got 2 games left. Everybody's played 80 at this point. There is no more room for error. Every single playoff spot has been clinched except for 1, and let's get into that right now. This Central Division, we got the Avs, the Stars, and the Wild all clinching their divisional spots. No room for difference. The Pacific Division, the Golden Knights and the Oilers have clinched divisional spots. The Kings are the 3rd spot right now, but the Seattle Kraken and Winnipeg Jets have clinched the final 2 wildcard spots. Winnipeg is stuck in wildcard 2. The Kraken have a chance to take the Kings spot in the division. If the Kraken win tonight and the Kings lose, well, hold on, let me make sure I'm not making a mistake here. The Kings play tomorrow, and the Kraken play as well tomorrow. So the Kraken play Vegas tomorrow. That's a huge game. Now for Vegas, they're trying to play for the division title as well, so that's a big game all around. But if the Kraken win tomorrow and the Kings are able to lose to the Anaheim Ducks, it's quite literally in Anaheim's hands.
Yeah.
If the Kraken make the division, the Kraken will have 42 wins. No, I meant 47 wins, and the Kings will have 46. So the Kraken will leapfrog into the divisional round and play Edmonton, where the Kings will eventually scoot down and play the Central Division winner. So there's a huge thing there. Calgary Flames eliminated. Nashville Predators eliminated. The whole West is set. The 8 teams are set. In the East, it's going down to Game 82. To Game 82. Bruins, Lightning, Leafs were clinched last week. Hurricanes, Devils, Rangers. It's all about the wild card race. Now, let's just get into what happened this week. So, first off, let's throw it back to Thursday. Florida versus Ottawa. And the Cats win 7-2 because the Lion King, put up a 56 save performance to carry this Florida team and keep the winning streak going. That was 5 in a row. Then on Saturday, they're tied 2-2 with Washington, and Matthew Tkachuk drops a dime with a minute left, and then they win that game. So that's 7 in a row. And then they end up taking Toronto is beating them 1-0 through 2 periods. And in the third, Brandon Montour, which, by the way, this guy, as a defenseman, to drop 70 points and break the franchise record, this kid's on one. He cracks one into the net, and in overtime they lose because John Tavares takes care of business on a little breakaway there. So the Lion King can't do everything, but he was NHL 3rd star of the week. When have y'all ever seen an AHL goaltender do something like this before? Incredible run he's on. So that put Florida in wildcard 1 spot right there. The New York Islanders holding on right behind. They beat Tampa 6-1 on Thursday. Like, where did this come from? And then they beat the Flyers 4-0. So it was literally in Washington's hands on Monday. And the Capitals dropped 2 goals in the first minute of the game. Ended up having a 3-0 lead through 2 periods, and there was no coming back. Washington clutched up. And then it was on to Pittsburgh. They had to play the Minnesota Wild, tough team from the Central. AJ, they take them down handily, 4-1. Then against Detroit, it wasn't even close. They dropped 2 goals in the first period, had a third halfway through, and it was 5-1 by the end of that. This Penguins team was rolling. They had won 3 out of 4 games last night. Keep in mind, this is to put them straight into wild card. They're finishing the season with Chicago and Columbus. And the Chicago Blackhawks win their 26th game of the year. Now, I know you didn't want to talk about this game, right? So I'll do it for you. Unless you have something to say.
Go for it.
Peter Mrazek, dude, I didn't even know who these players were that scored these goals. Buddy Robinson. Is this the same Tyler Johnson that was on the Lightning 8 years ago?
Yes.
He's there now?
Yes.
Incredible. It was an empty netter, so it doesn't even make a difference. But Andreas, I can't even say this last name, Athanasio. These guys, they warmed my heart as a Panthers fan. See, I don't want Pittsburgh to miss, though. I don't want them to miss. I want them to get 8.
Yeah,
I do want them
I don't
to
want
get
to watch
8.
the Islanders.
I don't want to see the Islanders either. Like,
No one wants to
see the Islanders.
No one wants to watch the Islanders.
Unless AJ might want to watch the Islanders. You had something prepared for this. Floor's yours.
So, if anyone expecting a big rant from me today, it's not happening. So, sorry, it's tough.
All the gas is gone. All
Tough.
the gas is gone.
It's all done. So, over the course of the season, for those who've been listening, throughout the duration of Breaking the Ice, y'all have known that I have been very, very, very back and forth on this Penguins team, right? But this Penguins team, they've had very big highs, very low lows, right? We've established that. But I've been right on one thing, and throughout this entire year, and that is this organization needs change, right? It needs change from the top to the bottom. I can go through numerous moves over the last few years and highlight as to why the Penguins are where they are. One, giving Jeff Carter a contract extension, right? Terrible move. Adding on to the Jeff Carter terrible move, right? The Kraken, they come into the league, expansion draft. They protect Jeff Carter, who's 35 at the time, who the Kraken there's no shot they would have taken him from Pittsburgh, right? And they let Jared McCann go unprotected, right? You want to guess how many goals Jared McCann has this year?
He dropped 40 this year.
Yep. He has 40 goals this year, right? Let's go back all the way to, I can go to like trading Mike Matheson for Jeff Petrie, right? That trade. Mike Matheson at the time was the better player than Jeff Petrie, right? Mike Matheson in Montreal is the better player. Jeff Petrie, he hasn't been bad in Pittsburgh, but for his contract, he should be performing a lot better. They signed Jan Ruda in free agency. That's been a disaster. They traded John Marino for Ty Smith, but since they have too many one-way contracts in their organization, Ty Smith's been stuck in Wilkes-Barre the entire year. Wonderful. Again, now going to the trade deadline, right? They clear all this cap space by getting rid of guys like Kasperi Kapanen, who's, by the way, balling in Minnesota. Not Minnesota, in St. Louis these last few weeks. He's been going on an absolute tear. He had a tear like a week ago where he dropped 8 goals in 13 games. He's found a home there, and he's found like a second wind. He's gonna be a player there. Guarantee within the next 2 years he drops 25 goals in a season. It's happening. But neither here nor there. They clear all these cap space. They get rid of guys like Teddy Bluger as well. They get about $7 million in cap this year at the trade deadline. What do they use that on? They use that on a full no-retain Mikhail Granlund trade for a second-round pick, which I ripped in here at the start, calling it a terrible trade. Justin Brady and Dana, Mikhail Granlund's good. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about what? 5 points in 20 games. Every time he touches the puck, he doesn't skate. Yeah, don't worry about that. Dmitry Kulikov, right? Now, I'm not going to blame that trade because Kulikov, as soon as he got here, got hurt. But you didn't need a 7th defenseman. P.O. Joseph was fine. You tanked away assets for no reason. And then, to help their bottom 6 as well, you know who else they trade for? A 34-year-old Nick Bonino.
Hey, let me give you a nice little. I got it right here. Hold up. Ready for this? Are you guys ready for this?
I mean, I've been ready.
Oh yeah.
Listen, Nick Bonino. He was a nice contributor with the 2 Stanley Cup teams in Pittsburgh, right? Nick Bonino at 34 is not that this team needed at all. They needed scoring in their bottom 6. You know what would have helped? JT Miller or Brock Besser. But instead, not the case. So, and now let's talk about this team on the ice, right?
Well, he was wrong about one thing. He is still ranting. He didn't say a rant about the game, but it's still here.
Yeah,
you gave false advertising.
Well, you're getting a version of it. Now let's talk about this team on the ice. So I'm just going to ravel off some teams, and you tell me what you think their record against them are this season. The New York Islanders.
I know the answer, so I'm not going to say it. So
Tanner, how many times did they beat the Islanders this year?
0.
The New
Yes,
Jersey
sir.
Devils. How many times did they beat them?
0.
Yep. The Carolina Hurricanes. How many times did they beat them?
0.
Yep. Yep. The Florida Panthers. How many times did they beat the Florida Panthers?
It's not 0, right? It's 1.
1.
Okay.
They beat them once. The New York Rangers. How many times did they beat them?
Once, I think?
Once.
Okay.
And it was an overtime game.
Oh, that game was terrible.
And it was an overtime game. So, against all of the teams that including the Metropolitan and the Wild Card, right? You want to know what their combined record is?
I do.
It's a lot. It's a lot too little. It's a lot
Yeah.
too little. It's 2-17.
It's not good.
Terrible.
It's not how you make the playoffs.
Absolutely terrible. So, and this team finally, after months of incompetence, got one break. One break. The Islanders went and completely laid an egg in Washington. Gave up 2 goals in the first minute. Go down with a lose 3-0. And you have the 2 teams that are leading the Connor Bedard sweepstakes to play again. Controlling your destiny to go to the playoffs. And what do? They turned Peter Mrazek into literally Igor Shesterkin last year. He was Igor. Like, I'm telling you. Like, the Penguins, they generated over 15 shots from the slot, right?
Peter.
Mrazek. They generated 15 shots in the slot, right? 18 grade A chances and almost 40 shots on goal, right? They lose that hockey game. They play tight. They're just throwing pucks on net. And guess what? Now the Penguins now their season relies on the Montreal Canadiens to go into UBS Arena and win a regulation game versus the Islanders.
Even if they win in overtime, the Islanders' point still gives them.
Well, I know why, because they have no tiebreakers, because they're 2-19 versus teams that actually matter to them. So, change is needed. We've been known this, and if you didn't agree with it before, you should agree with it now. If they don't make the playoffs, Ron Hextall, GM, he's out the door. He's going to get fired. Brian Burke, president of Hockey Ops, should be gone too, right? Mike Sullivan. I mean, at points this year, this team has played absolutely uninspired hockey, right? For as much as management has completely screwed up the cap and screwed up with the lineup and everything, they're the oldest team in the league. They still have a top 6 that is arguably a top 8 unit in the league, right? Mm-hmm. They still have a number 1 defenseman like most teams don't. They still have a stud number 2 defenseman as well, right? They should theoretically be a playoff team, right? But they're not. At some point, players will absolutely tune you out. I never thought that would ever be the case in the Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin era, right? Mm-hmm. They're two of the greatest players of all time. Crosby's one of the greatest leaders. Head coaches are not meant to be in hockey organizations for a long period of time. That's not how the NHL works. Head coaches are always bouncing around, right? Mm-hmm. It's very rare you see one stay in a place for a long time.
It's just like 5 years.
Yeah, it's time. It's time. More you got to clean house. If you don't think Fenway Sports Group, after getting grilled in Boston, in that market for using the profits that the Red Sox have made over the last couple of years to buy the Penguins, mm-hmm. not spending money on that to get players into that organization, what they've been doing with the soccer teams as well. If you don't think that ownership group is listening to Pittsburgh fans, who I don't know if y'all have ever been to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, the only thing that matters in that city is sports. Mm-hmm. You're driving through nowhere of Pennsylvania for 5 hours, and then you get to Pittsburgh. There's nothing there besides their sports teams, right?
Well, every
it is a sports town through and through.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. There's the Roethlisberger.
Yeah,
it's a sandwich named after the quarterback.
Yeah, it's almost like the same thing of Boston. You'll be driving through Massachusetts, which is like you're pretty much driving through the middle of nowhere, and then you'll get to Boston. Those towns are sports towns through and through. Mm-hmm. If you don't think after Fenway Sports Group getting booed in their baseball team's own arena during the Winter Classic, I remember that one. That one was just wild. Them. 3 fire Ron Hextall chats in back-to-back games, and last night they the fans keep chanting for periods long with the fire Hextall, fire Hextall. If you don't think that ownership group isn't listening, they are now. And regardless on whether they make the playoffs or not, do I think they can beat Boston? Absolutely not. No way. Can they beat Carolina? Nope. Can they beat the Devils? Nope. Can they beat the Rangers? Nope. They're going to get swept by all of them. It's like those series wouldn't even be competitive. Why? Because at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like, they've made their own bed. They have to lay in it. And the fact that the playoff streak for 16 years is going to end like this, it's just not because of, Crosby, Malkin, Letang just getting old and not playing what's it called well. Crosby and Malkin are both over point per game players this year. The fact that this playoff streak is ending just because of incompetence everywhere is sad. Change has to be made. Let's go Canadians tonight. I hope they miss the playoffs, and I hope it's a wake-up call to the organization that you got to change some stuff around. Otherwise, you're going to be right back in the position you are next year. Buffalo, Ottawa, Detroit, they're all going to be much better next year. They're all going to be competitive, but the two of them might be playoff teams next year. The Islanders are still going to be good. The Panthers are still going to be good. Boston, Toronto, Tampa, Carolina, Jersey, the Rangers are all still going to be good. So they got to get it moving. They got to figure it out. Or they're arguably, I can make the case today, and I've never thought I would ever have to say this. The Penguins could be one of the worst teams in the East next year.
I don't know if that'll ever happen though. With the core,
it's very possible.
They could be mediocre for the next few years. If they
don't change anything next year, and they just run it back with the Hextall, with the front office, they run it back with Sullivan as their head coach, but they let that management group figure out with that, because they have a top 6 spot that they have to fill. They have 5 bottom 6 spots they have to fill. They have to fill a defenseman, a starting goalie. They have $19 million in cap to do it. It's not a lot. So if they let that front office group do it, they're going to run this team to the ground. I'm telling you, Buffalo, Ottawa, and Detroit are all going to be better. Right now, going into next year, I would have the Penguins in a power ranking as my 12th best team in the East. And that's generous.
12th best team.
I would take Boston, Toronto, Tampa, Carolina, Jersey, Rangers, Panthers, Islanders, Sabres, Senators, Red Wings. I would take them all to be better.
Well,
I would take all to be better.
There's my answer on does AJ Chasan want to see his does he want to see his team in the playoffs?
No, because they're going to get embarrassed. They're going to get cleaned out, and it's not going to help anything. It's not going to help anything in the long term.
Well, I hear what you're saying. I understand.
No.
You see, it's a playoff push, not even worth making right here.
No.
So, as of right now, they still could totally make it. It's all in the hands of the Montreal Canadiens and themselves, of course. You know what I mean? If they're able to pick up 2 points, this is the only way they can make it, right? If they pick up 2 points?
Well, they would have to pick up 2 points in regulation. If they pick up 2 points and it's in overtime, the game goes to overtime. If the Islanders lose in overtime and get a point, they're eliminated.
No, I'm saying the Penguins can win no matter how.
Well, the only way that the Penguins get in is if they beat Columbus and the Islanders lose in regulation.
Yeah.
Regulation.
Yeah. I'm saying for the Penguins, it doesn't matter how they win. If they win in a shootout, if they win,
yes,
yeah,
no,
okay.
It doesn't matter how they.
So
win.
they got to beat Columbus. How's their record against the Blue Jackets this year? 3-0.
I can pull it up for you, but
here's a win against them, 4-1. Okay.
Yep, I think they're 3-0.
Let's just check that out real quick. So
I think
they're two. I see 2 wins. I see 2 wins. All right. And there's got to be one more game in here, or maybe they're just 2-0. Oh nope, 3-0. 1 overtime win.
Yep.
So it's an opponent they know how to beat. It's quite literally probably the worst team in the Eastern Conference. Definitely the worst team in the division. By far, honestly, the worst team in the Eastern Conference. Not even close.
In the NHL, maybe.
It's
the Sharks.
It's
Sharks and the Ducks.
But at the end of the day, it's the NHL. They got young players. Those aren't teams that you should be taking lightly. Those are young players on that organization fighting for jobs, fighting to keep their dreams come true.
And Johnny Gaudreau.
24 and 56.
It's all those guys
and Johnny
Gaudreau.
They're fighting to keep their NHL hopes and dreams alive. Like, those are teams at this time of the year. They're spoilers for a reason. They play inspired hockey.
Oh yeah, that it always happens.
And at the end of the day, like, if this team were to somehow get a second life and the Islanders lay another egg versus the Canadians, which I doubt is going to happen, especially in front of that crowd. Like, they're going to be in a frenzy. Like if they go up 1-0, it's gonna be nuts in there. Like
Who would have thought it, any playoff spots, though, would come down to game 82, man?
well, that's
Game
NHL for you.
82. It's crazy.
That's hockey. Like,
But even outside of that, right? There's still so much that Game 82 does.
Oh, yeah.
There's literally only one confirmed playoff matchup, and that's the Lightning versus the Leafs. And
Yeah.
the Bruins have nothing to play for either. They're quite literally locked in. So the Atlantic Division is set. In the Metro, okay, so the Rangers are locked into 3. They got nothing to play for. The Hurricanes and Devils are playing for a completely different thing. One will play the Rangers, the other will play whoever gets wild card 2. Whether that be Florida,
They'd play
whether
wild
that
card
be the
1.
Islanders. Wild card 1, my mistake. Whether that be Florida or the Islanders. So that still remains to be seen. Same thing with Florida. They're playing for wild card 1. The Islanders are playing for wild card 1. The Penguins are playing for wild card 2. And out west, okay, it's even more wild when you go out west. So the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche have 2 games left. They're both playing for the Central lead. The Vegas Golden Knights and the Oilers are both playing for the Pacific lead, which is wild. And then the Kraken are playing for a divisional spot. The Jets are the only team not playing for something out there. Even the Minnesota Wild aren't playing for much. They can only max out at the 2 or 3 seed. So, like, they're getting what they get, which is just a first-round series against Dallas or Colorado. They're 2 or 3, so it's not going to make too much of a difference for them. But I'm surprised that there's only, at this point, only one confirmed matchup. These final 3 days are going to be crazy. Let's just check out what we got today.
I know. I was like thinking for my show today and the show, like, oh, we're gonna go over a couple matchups that we have, like,
Nope.
talk about that.
Nope.
And then I was like, wait, no,
There's only Lightning.
one.
There's only Lightning
There's only
Leafs.
one. So I was like,
So-
the Rangers might play this team. And I would play, yeah.
So
It's
what
insane.
we're going to do is we're going to go down the final games, and we're going to see how much it impacts. Okay, so San Jose, Calgary's tonight, whatever. Doesn't make
that
any.
means nothing.
Montreal,
That's just where is Connor Bedard go?
Habs versus Islanders tonight, 7 o'clock. The line is 385 in favor of the Islanders. So they're favored to win by a lot for some reason.
I can tell you the line was minus 550 yesterday in Pittsburgh.
Yikes. So clearly that don't mean a thing.
It don't mean nothing.
Let's look at the Islanders versus Montreal so far this season. So in October, they didn't play. In November, they also did not play each other. So where did they start playing? December? They didn't even start playing in December. Where's Montreal? There we go. There's a 2-1 win versus Montreal in January for the Islanders. Then a 3-4 overtime loss. And that looks like the 2 games they've played against each other this season. So who knows? What do we think tonight's going to happen? We got Ilya Sorokin versus Sam Montembeault, which, like, that's not even fair. That's not even fair. Ilya Sorokin's been keeping this Islanders team afloat. Brock Nelson has 73 points. Nick Suzuki leads Montreal with 64 points. Their leading goal scorer has only 26 goals. It's Cole Caulfield. Like, I think this Montreal team is
Who's also been
outclassed.
hurt like half the season.
Yeah. This Montreal team, Cole Caulfield is out. He's not even playing in this game. So, and that says something. If they can't even have a goal scorer of 30 goals, that tells you the whole.
Bad. That's bad.
So who's winning this game, guys? Montreal's way more injured than. Wow, they have a lot of injuries. You want to know how many players are on their injury report? Let's do 5 plus 5. 14 players on the injury report for them. The Islanders have Barzal out, and they have 2 others. Romanov and Wallstrom.
Well-
And those guys will all not be playing tonight. That's key injury for the Islanders, I think. But then again, I just watched the Isles lose to the Washington Capitals. But this one's on home ice against the Canadians. I'm giving me an Isles win here.
I don't know how to predict this one. I don't know. Either way, I guess the good thing is, either way, Islander fans are upset or Penguins fans are upset. I don't.
One or the other is happening tonight.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Actually, not even the case. Let's say the Isles lose this game. They'll be upset for a day. If somehow the, Pittsburgh Penguins can truly sell the season away tomorrow at 7 p.m., then they'll still be upset, but they'll be unupset for like a few moments because they make the playoffs.
I wouldn't even be upset if the Islanders
Well, you'll be
lose.
happy. You'll be happy.
No, I'm saying if the Islanders lose tonight and the Penguins somehow lose to the Blue Jackets and that's how the Isles get in, I wouldn't be shocked. Like,
Boston gonna take care of business.
Like that's
4 games.
That's just 2023 Penguins. The Islanders lose tonight, give the Penguins back control of their destiny again, and then they just blow it away, lose to the Islanders, not lose to the Blue Jackets, lose to the second worst team in the league, lose to the 2 worst teams in the league back to back, and that be the reason they're out in the playoffs. That would not shock me.
Well, who do you think is gonna win this game?
Give me the Islanders. Give me the Islanders. This is not a biased pick. The Islanders, after how they started the Washington game, having control of their own destiny, kind of just, like I said before, blowing it away, not playing inspired hockey. They're coming back to their barn. If they go up 1-0 in this game, that crowd's going to be in a frenzy. UBS is going to be going wild. It's going to be a playoff game in there. It's going to be a playoff.
It is a playoff game, pretty much.
Yeah, it's going to be a playoff atmosphere in there. It's going to be a barn burner, but give me the Isles in this one.
Bing bong for them.
Bing bong. I do think the Canadians can keep it close, just because of, like I said before, like people
Playing for
play
spoiler.
jobs.
Tanner, what you got here, huh?
Give me the app. Give me the Habs.
Give me the Habs.
Give me the Habs.
He
Why
says,
not?
"Give me the Habs."
I want the Penguins to make the playoffs over the Islanders because I just hate watching the Islanders play hockey.
At least someone on this panel wants the Penguins to win.
It's
Make
so-
the
I
playoffs.
want them to do it. I want them
it also
to.
It also could be because the stuff you've complained about. If they make the playoffs, maybe they'll stay, and the Penguins will be worse.
Dude, I really. This is why I don't like you sometimes. This is why I don't like you sometimes.
No,
Whoa.
I think
We all like each other here. Hold on.
if the Penguins even make the playoffs and they get like swept, I think everything would still be.
I don't want to
Clean
come in
house.
here and talk about the Penguins another week. I really don't. I want it to be over. I want to talk about other teams.
I want it to be
For the first time in Breaking the Ice history, I want to talk about teams like the Devils.
I saw that. I was reading some Penguins fans on Instagram. They're like, "We don't deserve. I don't want to make the playoffs. Please, put us out of our misery."
I don't want to talk about this team anymore. I'm done. I want to talk for the crazy time. The first time I'm bringing this history, I'm going to say it again. I want to be talking about the teams like the Rangers and the Devils. I do. I don't want to talk about this. This is terrible.
He can't wait to.
I want to talk about good hockey teams. The Penguins are not one.
The next 23
They
minutes
suck.
are gonna go by so slowly for this man.
They are. I'm literally just watching the clock. I'm watching the seconds. It's like make it go faster. Jeez.
Well, let's talk about some other hockey teams.
Thank
so,
God.
Tonight, St. Louis is eliminated. They can play spoiler, though. They're playing Dallas. The Dallas Stars are trying to win the Central Division. What are we thinking, guys? Can Jordan Binnington pull off one last masterclass to make Dallas the 2 seed in the Central Division and give it to Colorado? Honestly, I'm down to see that. I want to see Dallas take on Minnesota first round, and I want the Colorado Avalanche to take the first spot. But can Jordan Binnington take care of business, and can that St. Louis Blues defense do the job? Let's roll through. Right before you guys give me your answers, I'm going to roll through the schedule. First game of the season was Dallas, St. Louis. Dallas won 5-2. I lied. That was the preseason.
Oh.
I'm not. My mistake, guys.
Let's just
First
pick the
game,
game.
regardless.
Pick the
Anyway,
Pick the game.
I'm picking the Stars. I'm picking the Stars.
he's picking the Stars.
Picking the
Dallas, Stars, Dallas,
Stars.
That might be one of the worst goal songs in the NHL.
It's really
just
bad.
Dallas, Stars.
We gotta get creative.
Oh, I lied.
play like
I
Texas
completely
something.
lied. You guys wouldn't believe. Okay. The last 2 games for Dallas of the year are both against St. Louis. It's a little mini 2-game series here. So St. Louis fully has the chance to take Dallas out of the first spot here. It's a 2-game set. And the Colorado Avalanche also have 2 games. They play Winnipeg and Nashville. Can Dallas steal one here?
No.
So they're going to take both the games against St. Louis?
Dallas is gonna take both the games against St. Louis.
And so what do we think? The Avs are going to take the one against the Jets and the Predators?
Yeah, they're gonna take them
So
both.
they're just going to win out.
They're gonna take them both. You guys were all saying that the Avalanche within the middle of the season, especially
I said Winnipeg.
yeah.
Central. Oopsie.
And I
My
was
mistake,
like,
guys.
just settle down. Colorado will be fine, and now look what's happening.
And they're perfectly fine. 49 wins later. They can be a 50-win team.
They're fine.
So that's tonight's games. Let's go hop into the Thursday games. We got Carolina, Florida. Boys. As a
Playoff
Rangers fan, I'm
preview?
sure it's not. For the Devils fans are all watching. The Cats are taking this game. The Lion King on fire. They're winning this game so they can play the Devils round 1.
Listen, if the Devils start out like in the playoffs and they look terrible, if they get the 1 seed and they lose to the Panthers, and the Hurricanes like beat the Rangers, I will be so angry at you.
At me.
At you.
So
just
you
because
wanna
of the Panthers.
Do you want to play the Devils round 1?
I don't know who I want to play. I don't know.
81
You want to
games
play
in.
the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah,
You
I
want to
would say
play the New
Devils.
Jersey
I would say the
Devils.
Devils, but I'm not like.
We need the content for the show.
Yeah.
I
know
actually
what?
want to talk about both these teams.
Okay. This will be taken probably out of context.
All right.
Give me the New Jersey Devils. Give me anybody.
All
the
right.
Rangers are beating them.
You know what? Nah,
Is that
I
your
don't
Wee
want-
Hoopin' impersonation?
Fatality.
Coming soon. Regardless, listen, Carolina, they have destroyed Florida 4-0 this year and gotten destroyed 3-0 as well. And then that's the 2 games they've played. So this game could go either way. Florida had problems beating this team 2 years ago. Don't know why. It's just one of those teams they couldn't beat. But there's plenty at stake here in this final game. The Lion King is coming through. Matthew Tkachuk is coming through. He's going to be first NHL All-Star team this year with 105 points at the left wing position. Give me a left wing better than him this season.
Let's look.
Let's look.
I don't care.
We're giving you a shot to talk other teams here.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Listen, there's no left wing. Wingers, you can bring up Pasternak and Kucherov. Left wing specifically, you want to talk about Jason Robertson? Go ahead. He's the better goal scorer, not the better player. And, there's nah. Artemi Panarin, yes, 28 goals. Kachuk got 40. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
That's all I'm
Okay.
trying to say. This is the best left wing
Oh my
in
god,
the
we
league.
have the best left wing in the NHL. We're gonna win the Stanley Cup.
We are going to win the Stanley Cup.
Oh,
We're going all the way.
Oh my god.
my God.
Just because we had the best left wing in the NHL, we're gonna win the Stanley
We have
Cup.
4 guys over 70 points
have-
and 1 guy over 100.
We're gonna have Alex Lyon in a playoff series.
That's actually wild. I can't believe he took Sergei Bobrovsky's job, but he did.
Get ready
He
to hear-
actually did.
Get ready to hear.
What, the Lion King every
Get ready
day?
to see every night
What?
the Storm Surge.
We don't even know who's going to match up because the
don't know.
Rangers can't match up against Florida until
Y'all
round
got
2, if
Simba in
anything.
net.
What?
Y'all got Simba in net.
We have Simba in net.
He his pregame, whatever. Like during the intermission, Rafiki just walks in. Make a better save. That would be the Lion.
Okay, we're going back to other games here. Ottawa plays Buffalo, doesn't matter. Boston plays Montreal, it doesn't matter. Pittsburgh, Columbus. All right, let's get right into it, man. Come on.
No.
Yes, we have got to do it one more time. Johnny Gaudreau, can he? All right, so keep in mind the Blue Jackets are throwing out a goaltender who has a total of 8 games this year he's played in, and a save percentage of .871. Okay, our boy Michael Hutchinson over here.
Peter Mrazek at a 9.22 and
All right, yo Tanner, hit the light of the dimmed ones real
Yeah.
quick.
Peter
All right,
Mrazek
thank
had a
you.
record of 9.22 and 3 with an 8.92 save percentage, and what became the next coming of with Igor Shesterkin of last year. I don't want to hear these stats.
Michael
I
Hutchinson.
don't care.
1-6-3, 4.44 goals against on average, and he has no shutouts. But
I
that's-
don't care. They'll make him look like the next coming of Christ.
Well, who's winning this game?
No.
Come on, you cannot give me a no. Tanner, who's winning this game?
I picked the Canadians to win.
I
Johnny
think Pittsburgh Penguins are winning this game, man.
Johnny Gaudreau with 5 seconds left.
Oh,
Makes it 3-2, and the Blue Jackets take it home. Blue Jackets take it home. They get the 3rd overall pick. Do not draft Connor Bedard, and then they're in the tank for the next 10 years.
AJ, you do not have to talk about the Penguins after this is the last time you have to bring them up. It's their last game of the season. You have to do it one more time. Who is winning this game?
Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, they're making the playoffs now.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
They're making the playoffs now.
No, they're not.
Detroit, Tampa doesn't make a difference. Toronto versus the Rangers. I don't think this has any weight on anything. It's just a fun
No.
game. Are you sad that they're so close to having games that matter? Because the Rangers, 3 points away from New York. Just played a little harder a couple games this year.
There's
You know
a
what I
couple.
mean?
There's a couple games that they should have that you look back.
Let's
on.
let's recap the past week. The overtime loss to St. Louis.
Overtime loss.
And then
Yeah.
the shootout loss to Buffalo. Talk about Devin Levi
Oy.
in that game right
Oh,
there.
good thing the Buffalo Sabres are not making the playoffs because I do not want to face him because he's owned the Rangers basically twice.
Stud
Not good.
coming up.
Not good. It's mostly it's the point of the season where the last game of the season means absolutely nothing.
You're just waiting to see who you play.
Just don't. I wouldn't even play the top players. You don't need.
Yeah,
you don't
no
need
point,
anyone
no
getting
point.
injured.
You're just waiting to see who your opponent is
Yeah.
at this point.
But there are games where you're just like, oh, if they didn't do that in this game, I mean, you can't really look back on it.
Yeah.
Because it happened, whatever. But there's so many games that they played where you're like, if they played better in this game, if they held on to a lead in this game, this is a completely different story. Maybe they're, at the top of the division right now. The one game I could think of is when they were up 3-0 on Edmonton. And Edmonton scored four in the third period and won. That was a rough game to watch, but if they won that game, they had that rough stretch at the beginning of the season. At the beginning, you think of if they didn't have that, how good of a team that they could be. But they had that really rough stretch where I was getting scared. I was like, "Oh, this team isn't that good."
He was panicking.
And then Jacob Trouba threw his helmet, and then everything changed.
Then everything changed.
That's basically what happened.
Well, speaking of everything changing, Western Conference playoff picture. I know we're all Eastern Conference fans here, but let's talk about that real quick. So Vegas and can Edmonton win a division? Okay, hold on. Let's get into that real quick. Vegas has one more game against Seattle. Edmonton has one more game against San Jose. Okay? If the Oilers are able to win, right, they have 50 wins. And if Seattle clutches up and beats Vegas, Vegas also has 50 wins. So as AJ pointed out, then it goes straight to head, right?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
Really?
And it goes to regulation wins.
Yeah, they both have 50.
Yeah, they both have 50 regular. That's what we're
So
talking
after
about.
that, it'd be head-to-head, right?
No,
Oh, regulation wins?
I think that's what the first tiebreaker is.
Dude,
I think that's what the first
You're
tiebreaker is.
lying. All right.
Although looking at, I don't know if it's regulation or regulation and overtime
I think it might be regulation overtime.
because it's like they don't want to count the shootout wins. I don't know. It's something weird.
Well,
but
let's take a look.
Edmonton does lead in regulation overtime wins. I don't know if they lead in regulation wins.
Let's take a look at the Oilers versus Vegas.
They haven't. The Oilers actually have not. They have. Yes, the Oilers have 44 regulation wins. Vegas has 37.
And Oilers have beaten Vegas twice this season.
The Oilers did not win, at least not unless happens in
The
this
Oilers have a
They
3-1
did not-
series lead this
game.
year.
They did not win in a shootout this year at all.
Interesting.
In a shootout, which is weird.
So, the Vegas. Do you guys think Edmonton can win the division? They have to beat San Jose. That's happening. But can Vegas, Seattle or Vegas? Is Seattle clutching up or is Vegas winning? Because the last game, Vegas won 4-1, literally last night.
I think Seattle is going to
It's at
play
home.
hard because I think they would rather.
They also won a divisional spot. Yeah.
Yeah, they want a divisional spot.
Even on that, the
they,
Kings get
They
the-
do not. They would rather go head to head with the Oilers than Granted, the Oilers will probably have more points.
The Kings
than-
also
than
play the
Avalanche,
Ducks.
than the Avalanche, but I do not want. If I'm any team, I'm not playing I don't want to play the Avalanche.
And the Kings have to play the Ducks in their last game. So if they just beat the Ducks,
That's true.
they're in.
That's true.
So it's a ton of stuff going around there. How do we think this division shapes up? I personally believe that Vegas will just take care of business, win that game. The Oilers will get 2. Kings get 3. Seattle gets the wild card spot. I think it stays the way it does.
Yeah, I think it will too. 'Cause I think the Kings are going to beat the Ducks.
AJ, what is your thought on that?
I agree with you guys. I think you guys hit the nail on
No
the
matter, I
coffin.
want to see Seattle win. I want to see some drama.
Yeah.
But I especially I think I would like to see Seattle versus Edmonton first round. It'd be cool. We got LA versus Edmonton last year. I don't need it again.
No, we know what's going to happen that series. Edmonton's just going to steamroll.
Besides, if the Kraken, if LA is able to get the second wild card spot, they're gonna play Colorado. It's unfortunate. I wanted a Johnny Quick revenge series, man. Well, that most likely gonna happen. If the Kings are able to get past the Oilers somehow, who knows? but the Jets have clinched a final wild card spot there. So that's all we really got here. The NHL season is coming to a close, and it feels like it flew by on this show. This is the month 5 of the show.
Yeah.
This is episode 21. In 5 weeks, we will officially have reached half a year. Officially.
Nuts.
AJ's coming back for the half year episode, then he's making his leave. And then he's coming back for the Stanley Cup episodes.
Yes, sir.
If he feels like it.
Yes,
Once
sir.
the Penguins are in the Stanley Cup, it'll be here.
That ain't happening.
So, boys,
happening.
It's-
Don't worry, I'll be
we
back.
got
I'll be back at some
every
point next year.
spot is clinched besides just that final wild card spot. So we're gonna transition here because I don't pay attention much to NCAA hockey, but the Frozen Four just passed, and the Frozen Four is the NCAA Hockey Championship. So let's get right into it. Quinnipiac, National Collegiate Athletic Association champions. The school from Connecticut.
What a game.
3-2 victory over the Minnesota Golden Gophers, who have had a history of being a great college hockey program. Quinnipiac, they get their first ever title. I love that stuff. When a school that's not supposed to do it does it.
The Quinnipiac head coach has been their head coach since 1994, I believe. And he finally won a national title.
Congratulations,
I watched like the last I watched like basically the last period of the game, and then overtime. I mean, it was only 10 seconds of overtime when they scored. It was an awesome hockey game. I think the best part about college hockey, it's so, because I hadn't been to a college hockey game in a while. I didn't go. I don't know why I said I hadn't been to one. So I kind of forgot like how it was.
I hear you.
They had, this team scores this huge goal, this massive goal that just tied the national championship game, and they have the marching band plays the goal song. They play like the fight song.
All right.
And so these guys are going nuts, and you just have like a whole band basically playing. It was awesome. It was I wanted.
You wanted to be there.
I wanted to be there.
All right, I hear you. Let's look at this whole bracket. So, in the NCAA, when it comes to D1 hockey, 16 teams make the bracket. 4 of them are ranked at the very top. We got Minnesota, Quinnipiac, Michigan, and Denver. Those were the top 4 seeds in each corner. And Minnesota took down Canisius, took down St. Cloud State. I also want to point out, some of these schools had a bunch of NHL players on them already.
Yeah.
So as soon as the Frozen Four was over, these players reported straight to the NHL. Luke Hughes is in New Jersey as we speak. Ton of players reporting to their teams, and they're going to get to play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, what timing? But if you look at this bracket, Denver was upset by Cornell. The Ivy League boys come through, win 2-0. And then Boston University takes down Western Michigan, and then BU takes down Cornell. So the Cinderella was over real quick. Ohio State beats Harvard in round 1, 8-1. Then Quinnipiac comes in there. They beat Merrimack 5-0, beat Ohio State 4-1. So it was clear domination from that region over there. On the other side, Boston U squeaked past Cornell, and then they get blown out by Minnesota 6-2. Minnesota took care of business first 2 games, scoring 13 goals in those first 2 games. And now head over to the other side of the bracket, Michigan. Michigan's hockey team takes care of Colgate 11-1. Penn State beats 8-0. So we had a Big Ten matchup here in the quote-unquote Elite Eight of the the NCAA hockey tournament. We had Michigan against Penn State. The game goes to overtime. Michigan wins. Was it in a shootout or was it in overtime? Let me check that out for you guys here. So Michigan wins against... It was in overtime. Michigan scores the overtime winner. Adam Fantilli. Overtime winner. Oh, no, my mistake. Third period, then overtime. This isn't... Certainly, it doesn't even, say it. Something's wrong here. Whatever. Michigan wins that game after beating Colgate 11-0. And then against Quinnipiac, Quinnipiac takes care of business. Minnesota beats Boston U, who got out of that region. And then the championship game, Quinnipiac gets their first title ever. So I'm happy for those kids, man. First national title in a program history. I like it better. When I see college sports, it's so difficult to win when you're not one of those schools. When you're not one of those schools, you know what I mean? So when you have a chance like that to get your first natty ever, do not ever waste it, man. You got to stomp on the opportunity. I'm sure the Minnesota Golden Gophers have natties. Michigan has natties. Quinnipiac is a school from Connecticut. They got to take this chance, and they took it. 3-2, they beat Minnesota. The Frozen Four was held in Tampa Bay, so it's kind of it's odd. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but
yeah,
good for them.
the Frozen Four, but it's in the Sunshine State.
Yeah. I do have breaking news though.
He's got breaking the ice news.
not on the Frozen Four. I have the Canadians lineup for tonight's game.
I want to hear this. Are there AHL kids sprouted throughout the roster?
I'll read it off.
Let's hear it.
On the top line, they're going Mike Hoffman, Nick Suzuki.
Mike Hoffman, Panthers legend, right
Mike
there.
Hoffman, Nick Suzuki,
Points
and Joe Armia.
All right.
Second line, Sean Farrell, Jonathan Drouin, and Dennis Gurinov. Line
That's a gang right there.
Yep. Line 3, Rem Pitlick, Jake Evans, and Brendan Gallagher.
Wow.
Line 4, Michael Pizzetta, Chris Tierney, and Joe Tisdale.
Chris Tierney. Hold on. Wait a minute. He was on the Panthers earlier this year. He played like 13 games. He's a true fifth. He's like a fifth line guy.
He's not very good.
All right.
D pairings, Mike Matheson and Justin Barron. Joel Edmondson and Chris Weidman. Third pairing, Jonathan Kovacek and Frederick Allard. In net, Sam Montembeau.
Wow, that's a terrible lineup.
What are the Islanders putting out? They got that out yet?
I will look for it right now as we speak.
We got 3.5 minutes left here on Breaking the Ice. It's the last day with regular season games. So much is going to happen. By next week, we'll have all the answers. We'll have all the
I
answers
think
to
by
everything.
next week will be.
We'll have playoff games done.
Yeah.
How many games will be done by then?
Probably
One or two?
One in each series, I think.
Let me look it up. When do the NHL playoffs
I have it.
start? Let's hear it.
Anders Lee, Bo Horvat, Josh Bailey, Pierre Engvall, Brock Nelson, Kyle Palmieri,
It's a better gang already.
Zach Parisi, Jean-Gabriel Pajot, Hudson Fashing, Matt Markin, Casey Cizikas, and Cal Clutterbuck. On defense, Adam Pellick and Ryan Pollock, Sebastian Asho and Scott Mayfield.
The other Sebastian Aho? The other one?
Samuel Bolduc and Noah Dobson.
Noah Dobson's nasty, man.
And in net, they're going Sorokin.
Got to go Sorokin for that playoff push right there. They're not clinched. They're in a spot, but they're not clinched. We got 2.5 minutes. Boys, the playoffs start on Monday. Monday, April 17th. In 5 days, we will have playoff action. So we will have most likely one game done per series by next episode. The Panthers are going to have one game on the New Jersey Devils next
All
week.
right. So we have one confirmed playoff series. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Lightning, right? All the rest is unknown. Give me one playoff series in the East and the West really quick that you would want to see.
All right, we're getting Cats Devils because the Cats are beating Carolina and the Devils are winning. We're getting
What about
Cats
out
Devils.
West?
Out West. Oh, okay. So out West, I want to see. Man, give me that Stars Wild matchup. The green teams.
All
The
right.
green teams. And
Tanner,
give
send
me
it
a Dallas win first game.
All right, send it over to you, Tanner.
I want to see.
Give me a Rangers one. I need a Rangers series.
Rangers one.
Yeah, give
There's
me
only
a-
two. No, I'm going with a different one.
Man.
Okay.
wanna
Let,
see-
let the man be.
I want to see Panthers Bruins.
I mean, that's totally possible, but we're going to need the Islanders to take some care of business.
That would be a closer series than anyone would think.
Okay.
I'm down to see it, too. Yeah, I'm down to see that.
In the West.
Who would we want?
I don't know. I think I would want to see Colorado, Seattle.
Colorado, Seattle.
Colorado, Seattle.
Philip Grubauer versus the boys.
Seattle's going to be feisty.
I like it.
They got this opportunity. They want to say, hey,
It's time to cash in.
yeah.
I
I want to
like-
see that.
I like
And
that.
There's no better way to do it than against the defending champs.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves 30 seconds left here on Breaking the Ice. This has been a fantastic show. I feel like we had a very entertaining episode right there. You know, AJ's finally done. He doesn't have to talk about the Penguins anymore unless they make the playoffs, and then he has to talk about them some more. So, you know, I want them to make it so bad. And then they get Boston round 1. Oh, he's going to have dude, that's Breaking the Ice content right there. He has to sit through another 2 weeks of the Boston Bruins here on Breaking the Ice. We got 3 seconds left because right now you are listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. That has been the show. We're going to win tonight, breaking the streak, going 1 and we're going 2-2 tonight. Signing off. We're going to be playing tonight. Let's go. Everyone, say your goodbyes.
Bye. I'll see you later.
Bye.
It's been good. Penguins, don't make the playoffs.
Panthers, we're taking down whoever in the first round. Have a great day, everyone. This has been 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, Breaking the Ice.